Welcome to Bachelor Party. I'm Juliet Litman. There is so much Bachelor in Paradise to talk about. I was on vacation. We've got 5 full episodes. That's like 9 hours, maybe 10 hours. So many hours of Bachelor in Paradise. Plus, the Real Housewives of New York had a bonkers reunion last night. The Hills is coming back. And there's just so much to dive into. And today, I'll be doing that with my new best friend, Sarni Rogers. Hi, Sarni.
Hi.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So we were introduced over email by a mutual friend who knew that we both loved Bravo and Bachelor, and we hit it off from there.
Nothing means more to me than meeting a new friend that is as passionate about reality TV as I am.
And then I deep dived you because I Googled pretty much everything that comes across like my screens. So
I'm like sad on Google because I'm not like a person.
Well,
I'm just a regular Joe.
Okay. I mean, sure. But you did have a viral video about 4 years ago. You were the one who posted the video of Jennifer Lawrence singing the Vanderpump theme song at Sir, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So that's like a pretty big deal. So that should just prove you're deep in the reality TV world. You worked on Chloe and Courtney Takes Miami.
I did. I worked on that show for like a hot minute.
I'm sure it was hot. It was Miami.
I mean, I did it from LA.
Oh,
but
interesting.
They did shoot it in Miami.
Okay.
And I have to say, that was one of the best work experience of my life. No one comes to work more than the Kardashians do.
I like people who respect work, so I like that.
They are the nicest people.
Cool. That's great to hear. And then you work for Embassy Row currently, which produces Watch What Happens Live.
Yep.
And you just love reality TV.
I love reality TV. I'm on the digital side with Embassy Row, but I feel so passionately about Watch What Happens Live. I'm going to lie and start telling people like, yeah, I work on Watch What Happens Live, Embassy Row, but really like I'm in a totally different department.
But you do love The Real Housewives of New York, so we'll talk about that. The reunion was amazing. Probably the best episode of the season, except for when the boat almost crashed in Cartagena.
New York came so correct this year. In watching like the recaps, I saw like I had forgotten about Halloween. I had forgotten about like Christmas. Like we went through so much with them, and
really
it was
did.
So good.
And everyone's just so mad at Bethany. And
everyone's so mad.
I want to discuss that, but we have to talk about Paradise first.
Okay.
5 hours of Paradise. I'm going to be honest. More than 5 hours. It was 4 this week. I think it's been 9 hours of Paradise so far. I only really remember about half of that. The first half, meh. But my main question for you, for starters, how much time do you think has elapsed in Soyalita? Because it's very hard to tell.
I'm so confused. I get into a time warp when I watch it because I'm like, they must be there forever. And I'm like, no, they're really only there. I think they even said on the show, it's been 2 weeks because one of them was like, I felt it took me 2 weeks. Oh, Grocery Store Joe, when he was upset about Kendall. He's like, it's been 2 weeks. We spent all this time together. She met this guy for 2 hours and she's already fallen for him.
The 2 weeks thing was really important. It's like signposting, right? Like telling you, it was a good way of like telling us how long they've been there because there's literally no way of telling. And I don't even know how long Colton has been there versus everyone else. And I'm dying to know because how much time elapsed between Colton and Tia like committing to each other in like the biggest of air quotes of all time.
I have something controversial to say about Tia.
Please hit
I
me.
feel like she was a bootleg Raven. And then when Raven came and was like, this is my best friend from home, I was like, oh yeah, it makes sense now. I was like, they wanted another Raven. America loves a Southern accent.
Sure.
And like a little bit of a sadness.
Sure.
And this is like what they gave us. And it was Tia. And there's too much Tia in this Paradise for me.
I agree and disagree. The Tia that we're getting, yes, I don't love this like weird obsessed with Colton, like yelling about how happy she is. But when she was like fighting with Chris, because after he like lied to her, that was incredible.
Yeah, well, Chris is
unhinged.
The goose thing is gross. He is gross. I hate his hair. I hate his facial hair. I hate everything about Chris right now. 2
important questions about Chris and Joe. Same question. Who do they look like? Who are their celebrity doppelgangers? Because there's been a lot of conversation about this.
Okay, so I agree with you and Grocery Store Joe, kind of resembling Darren Criss.
Yes.
But there's someone else in there too. I feel, you know who it is? It's Mel Gibson, young.
Whoa!
Young Mel Gibson.
That is a compliment.
Darren Criss had a kid and it came out in Chicago. They left him, an illegitimate kid when they were out partying one night. And it's Grocery Store Joe.
If I know anything about Mel Gibson, it's that he's going to hunt you down for implying he would have a child with a man.
And then who's the guy who was on Sons of Anarchy, who was like the older man?
I have no idea.
Look it up, Alexa.
That's Sarni talking to her assistant. Hi, Alexa. Also, that's kind of a tough conundrum because like you could be talking to an Amazon Alexa.
I was going to say just pretend it's Amazon Alexa later.
It's totally Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman.
Yeah,
he looks kind of like Ron Perlman.
Oh, I do see that. I know who you're talking about. The other one that someone suggested to me on social media, which I also now cannot not see is Jesse Bradford, the hunk from Bring It On.
I went on a date with him.
You did?
I went on a date with him
Torrance.
10 years
Love
ago.
your cheerleading squad.
Yeah. He's he was really nice. It was like we had mutual friends because he grew up in Connecticut, and I went to school in New Hampshire, Keene State.
Cool.
Very small school. You don't have to be very smart to get in there. And we had mutual friends. I saw him out one night with like Ryan Felipe.
Cool.
And I was
in
like,
New York?
Oh,
LA?
No, in LA at Dantana's. And I would see them every week, and we'd say like hi and like whatever. And then we got to talking, and he's from Connecticut. We have mutual friends. We went to sushi once. It was very nice. But I'm like a foot taller than him.
Oh, really? And like,
I mean,
how tall are you? Like 5'6"?
I'm 5'6". I guess I'm not a foot. That was an exaggeration, but it felt like it.
That's like making him at a Hobbit level. I can't tell how tall Grocery Store Joe is, by the way.
I feel like he's tall.
Maybe.
I'm going to come out and say it. Grocery Store Joe is like my favorite person.
Really? I don't like him at all. I think he seems like an asshole.
Do you follow him on Instagram?
No.
Okay, I do a couple check-ins on him. He's really cute. He's like in his grocery store checking the produce, saying hi to like the store guys.
I love a grocery store, so I wanted to love him. What's your favorite LA grocery store?
I go to Trader Joe's.
Cool.
I'm a Trader Joe's. But you know what? When I'm feeling fancy and like on payday, I'll go to Whole Foods in Venice because that's such a shit
really
show
nice.
Of a scene.
Well, you just told me that you live near the Ocean Park.
Yeah.
Area of Santa Monica. That Gelson's is one of my favorite places in America.
There's no cell phone service in there.
Yes, there's no service
in there. It drops
my
calls every time I go. And when I'm running errands, I'm usually on the phone, like talking to my mom. It drives me crazy. And it's a little overpriced. Like I might as well get a whole, it's a lot overpriced.
So super overpriced. But they
for
have
not being Whole Foods.
They have a nostalgic beverage section, which is
really?
like, yes, there's a cold case in the beverage aisle that's nostalgic beverages, which I'm obsessed with beverages, like
this
in general.
Interesting.
So I love there.
Have you been there lately? Because they opened a full bar inside of the
Oh
Gelson's.
my God, I haven't seen that.
They opened a bar. They opened like a juice, a liquidaria.
Sure. My Silver Lake Gelson's has a bar, which people frequent, and like we'll have live music on like the weekends.
I've actually done the bar at the Whole Foods in Venice because someone told me the shrimp burrito there was amazing.
Interesting. So. I used to live in San Francisco, and there was one specific Safeway that was like known for like, you go there to like meet someone, the Safeway Marina and the Marina Safeway.
I think that's what the Whole Foods Venice was. I remember being in a relationship.
Overrun.
I'm still in a relationship, but when I was in one in Venice and we'd see everyone like, oh, look how desperate everyone's like checking each other out. And it's like this really scary single scene. It's like, it's kind of like probably Rhea.
Yeah,
you know, or
sure.
Like maybe Bumble, but more Rhea.
Sure.
And then we broke up, and then I was there alone, and I like locked eyes with a cute guy, and I was like, oh, and then I was like, oh, this is so sad. I'm like fully in the game now.
So what you're saying is, if you were not in a relationship, you could run into Grocery Store Joe and probably fall in love in the produce section.
I would have, yeah.
Wow, I just find him to be an asshole, and like,
they're all assholes.
So with Tia, on the one hand, she and Colton like are providing us with some drama, which I appreciate.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. But you know what? I feel like at the end of the episode, the most recent episode, the drama that was happening with not Crystal, but I feel like it was finally.
Jenna?
Yeah, I feel like Jenna Jordan's situation. I was like, this is why I'm here. This is Bachelor in Paradise.
Yeah.
People are like, he's wearing an absurd outfit. He did the whole I'm sorry on the beach. She's going out with someone else who's not that much more exciting.
Yeah.
And then like the guy, Leo, with the hair and the Kendall thing. And like, I feel like all of a sudden it's happening. Like we've been on pause with like this Tia, Colton, like basic people, boring stuff. Now we're starting to move.
It's true. I like that there's like new people coming in to cause problems.
Yeah.
Tia and Colton, they speak to each other and expect from each other things that you would only say and expect if your only baseline of relationship experience was watching The Bachelor.
Yeah.
It's very weird. Very, very weird. Like him and Allie Raisman could not have lasted very long. And like, we don't even know anything about her past relationships except for her telling Colton that Raven's worried about her because she was like treated so poorly.
I know.
That's actually a red flag. I have come full circle, and I think that Tia might be the weirder one than Colton.
Well, I mean, she went through so many emotions this last. She was like,
God.
I'm ready to tell him what's up. Oh, I'm crying in the corner. Well, I want to go out. Oh no, this is all I've ever wanted. Just choose me. When she said just choose me, my heart broke a little bit.
Me too.
But then she followed it up with like some other line, and I was like, and now I'm uncomfortable again.
And then he does pick her, I guess, and she's like, so you're picking me.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, how many times have you watched Grey's Anatomy? Like, we get it. The choose me, love me, pick me speech.
Also,
I love it too, but like, come on.
What are we fighting for? The guy
doesn't have sex.
A virgin.
Allegedly. Do you believe that?
I want to know if she's given him a blowjob or
I bet she
a
has.
handy or something, because this all would make a lot more sense.
They're both religious is the only thing that might stand in the way of that. But like, just have some fun.
Have some fun.
Or at least like, I don't know. If you're not going to have sex, like at least pick a lot of like weird locations and like just make out there or something.
That'd be cool.
Like if you're in Mexico
I also
something.
feel like he must not be able to get that far. I don't know. The whole virginity thing with him makes me really uncomfortable.
One rando did DM me to say they knew someone who hooked up with him, had sex with him in college. But I was a rando. Yeah. I also like went back to try to find it, couldn't find it. I know I didn't make it up though. Yeah. But like it didn't happen.
I feel like it has to be true that he's a virgin because like what guy would go on national television being like, I'm a virgin? And he's not saying it in like a proud way. Like,
no,
it's sad.
He seems embarrassed.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. It's sad.
I know.
It's just their whole thing makes me uncomfortable. I want them to like do it or go away. I'm kind of over it.
The one thing about Tia, I think I would like her less if I didn't think she was like so pretty. I think she's really pretty though. Yeah.
I don't know. Something about, I don't know if it's the tattoo or like the boob job. They're like really in different places. I don't know.
Is that a boob job? Interesting.
I'm assuming it is. They were like, east and west, a little lower. Like she probably got it a few years ago. It's time to like re-up maybe.
Yeah, I gotta lift.
You know what? Let's just bring her to LA for like what they all do. I love it when they move to LA and get like the LA makeover.
Yeah,
I'm ready to do that with her.
Absolutely.
Cut her hair. Her hair's too long.
I know. You just told me my hair is too long too. Maybe we can get haircuts together.
I'm not into like long stringy. You don't have long stringy hair. You have beautiful hair. And for those of you who don't know, she has naturally beautiful hair. It's insane. Tia needs to cut her hair.
She does.
It's like stringy and a mess, and like the two-tone like ombre. That's a bad ombre, by the way.
The two-tone, like when your bun's a different hair, it's a different color than everything else.
By the way, it's like my hair all the time.
That's not true. I'm looking at your hair.
Not because I did it on purpose. She did it on purpose. Like I'm busy. I have a day job, and it's expensive. So.
I actually think she'd be a good bachelorette. I don't know.
No.
Yeah, because she's so indecisive and she's got like a whole like roller coaster of emotions.
To me. I cannot look at that owl tattoo
she
for
won't
another
get it.
full season.
She won't get it. The cold stuff
I don't think anyone's a
baggage.
strong contender for the Bachelorette on this season. Remember Cien?
Of course.
I was kind of like, she could do this. Rachel was so boring to me, and I feel like we need to keep the diversity thing going, and Cien is so beautiful, and she's smart, and she seems like kind of like she could give us like the spice. Like remember Emily?
Yes.
Like Emily was really good at being like sweet and really in it, but then she kind of would fire.
It's true.
And I feel like Cien could do that.
It's true. I really liked Emily, actually. That was a great season.
I liked Emily, too.
I had a crush on Jeff with one F, even though if I met him in real life, I would like be disgusted by him.
He's like still single and like...
Hangs out with Tony Romo.
Really?
Yeah, I discovered that Tony Romo had a secret Instagram account from stalking Jeff.
I know.
With one F.
He hangs out with a lot of football players. I know other football players that hang out with him.
Oh.
Who knew?
Interesting.
Also, like, didn't he own some company? What was it?
It was like a water company or something like that.
Good for him.
Yeah, something like that. I'm forever in love with Ben Higgins. Were you a fan of his?
I feel so bad for him. Can we find him someone?
He's fine. He's in LA right now.
I mean, they're really going strong with trying to make him the Bachelor again. I feel like maybe.
Yes, and I am very firmly opposed.
I feel like it's pathetic. He cannot do that again.
As I did used to have a huge crush on him, and now we're just friends. And as his friend, I don't support it.
Yeah,
like,
I don't support it either. I get it, and like he's so sweet, but it's like it's too much of a wussy move. I'm also over Wells being the bartender.
Why isn't Wells over being the bartender? Is my number one cue.
I think it was like
him.
a funny bit in the beginning, and I feel like he's who's the guy that always hosts all the MTV the challenge?
TJ Lavin.
Yeah, like he's no
Another
TJ,
great show.
and I love that show.
Me too.
He's like not. I'm done with it. He's dating like a super celebrity. Like they have a cute relationship.
He's dating Sarah Hyland from Modern Family.
I wanted him to go host another show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe he will from this. I actually like Caitlyn.
Yes.
I like her.
Yes.
I listen to her podcast sometimes.
Oh.
And I think she's pretty funny. And I think she would make a great host or
she
bartender because she loves drinking, and that's like her bit is like I drink wine. So like let's get her bartending for these people.
She is not friends with the franchise is the issue.
I get it.
I believe.
I could see that.
She also there's a rumor, it's not true, I've discussed this before, that bachelorettes aren't allowed to go on Dancing with the Stars, like only bachelors can. But she really wanted to go on, and like for some reason ABC didn't facilitate it, and so
That's
I think
ridiculous.
and she was a dancer.
Well, now I feel like she's a big influencer.
Yeah, she
and
is.
I feel like TV they need to start peppering more of the influencers now.
That's true. Although you need to either like lean into it or get completely away from it, which actually brings, I want to talk about Leo, who arrived this week.
So many thoughts.
Leo, I saw him.
Cut your hair, Leo.
Oh my God. I saw Leo. He's got the Tinsley problem like me. I saw Leo in the flesh a couple weeks ago. He was at a charity basketball game. Colton was also there, as was Nick Viall. And Nick is another friend of mine. I feel like I need to like state that about Nick.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I met him once at the Soho House in Malibu, and he's friends with a couple people I know, and I have to say, very hot IRL.
I guarantee that the people you know that know him, it's through me. I guarantee it. So that Nick is a nice guy. Don't know why I brought him up. Oh, the charity basketball game. So I saw Leo there. He looks like exactly the same in person to me. Like not more sexual appeal or less, like exactly the same.
Yeah.
And so that's why I was surprised that people were so into him when he arrived in Paradise. I'm like, are you that desperate for new blood? I think it just speaks to the fact that other guys must be really boring or uninteresting to them or like just not sexy at all.
Well, Chelsea, you have to understand, I'm from Maine. Mm-hmm. She's from Portland, where it's like 30 minutes apart.
Love Portland.
And there's just like no men there. There are not a lot of men there.
Where do they go?
I don't know.
To Boston?
I have no idea.
I was in Boston. There's a lot of men there.
I have a few single. I mean, most of my friends that live there are married. Like they get married very young and settle down early, have kids early. And so, you know, she's a single parent. She's got a kid and she's from Maine. Of course, her jaw's going to drop when this like loser walks in with way too long hair with big bulging muscles. It's just like any guy that's like super manly like that, you're just like kind of followed pieces about. And I was like very upset when he was kissing her. So I was like, you can't toy with this single mother from Maine.
Yeah, and then he also goes on a date with Kendall, who's like falling for him. And
again, I don't understand that.
I don't understand it either. I thought Kendall was smart, but now I'm confused.
Yeah, I was honestly, and I ride for Grocery Store Joe, but I was even surprised with Grocery Store Joe. I have to say, what's the nerd's name? I'm forgetting his name. John.
Love John.
When John and her had that like little moment, my heart dropped. I had like a physical reaction because I was like, oh my God, this could be a perfect couple because they're both so nerdy and they're both good looking and they're both like very kind and smart. They're so smart.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's like a real match. But I feel like when you give these nerds the opportunity to be with the edgy, scary people, like they kind of gravitate towards that for whatever reason.
Yeah. I don't really get it.
I don't either.
Poor John,
I'm like, didn't you have your terrible relationships in college and high school that like you're
over it? Some people don't. Some people don't get it out. And they're like, they want to go for the edgy guy.
Yeah.
But so Becca posted a series of Instagram story posts. I'm sorry. People don't call them chapters, but they are. It's Instagram story chapters.
I'll start calling it a chapter if you want.
Thank you. She posted a bunch of chapters about women claiming that they were like somehow sexually harassed.
I did hear a little bit about this.
And then Leo is looking into suing her for defamation.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so it's not clear what happened.
Yeah.
And I don't...
I'm glad he's back on
I know, right? So that's a two-pronged issue. One is this is like now like the third or fourth time that there's like a questionable guy, like whether he, I don't know if he did it. I don't want to assume that he did.
Yeah.
Like maybe he did not. It's unclear. And also many times those situations there's two sides to the story.
Totally.
And it's very murky. And it's honestly really hard to talk about. And it comes up a lot in the Bachelor world now, which sucks.
Yeah.
And we've had to address this quite a few times. The thing that is... So regardless if he did it or not, this is like, I think the third or fourth time in a year we've had to talk about like allegations of sexual assault.
I am just upset that they're willing to have a controversial person there than give us back the alcohol.
Yeah.
They took it away. They gave us a 2-drink maximum.
2 drinks per hour.
It's the
worst. Which is
worst.
actually crazy because that's a lot
insane.
of drinks.
And I know Viviana went on another, like said, like we found ways around it. Don't worry. Because like I'm worried. I want them drunk. I want them making me uncomfortable watching. And I hate that they rather, like why can't we like bend that rule instead of like, well, he hasn't been fully accused yet. So, or whatever.
Yeah. It's just like, I agree with you. Like they shouldn't be putting these guys back on the show.
Yeah.
And I now think, I don't know, this is not to say what Leo did or did not do what he said, but I do think Becca probably also, she's really close with Kendall. It's possible that she also had like other information about how he treated Kendall poorly or how he acted really like incorrectly on the show.
What a shock that guy's going to treat a woman poorly.
I know, right? So surprising.
I mean, come on.
I know. I'm shocked that any of these guys would. Can you believe it? People who go on dating shows looking to date multiple people at one time. But even on the show, he was like, why do I need to tell Kendall I made out with someone else? Like,
Yeah.
he just is like, he's already breaking the rules of morality
Well,
of
when
Paradise.
he said to Kendall, like, I'd be upset. I'm very, like, territorial or whatever. I'd be upset if you were, like, going with someone else. So don't do that.
Yeah.
But then he had just done that. So, like, that was, like, you know, the first, like, we're done. I was done with you before, but now I'm really done with you. Also, speaking of guys on the show, is Eric on the show? Because he had maybe 2 minutes of airtime.
He must be, like, normal and nice, and that's why he doesn't get more. Because he didn't get a lot of Winter Games. Did you watch Winter Games?
I did.
I loved it. He was barely on that, too.
I fast forward the competition parts because, like, I didn't care who could ski and who couldn't ski. I wanted to see, like, who was dating who and what was going on. We should call it, like, winter vacation, and maybe they don't have to do, like, competitive things.
Definitely. Were you into Leslie or no? I've come to learn she's, like, a little divisive.
No.
I love her, and I met her, and she was really cool. But like she was much more divisive than I realized.
I feel like she would be a great person in the real world, not for reality TV. Like, I appreciate like what she's gone through and whatever, but I wasn't like into her relationship. That guy, Dean makes me so uncomfortable. Dean and Colton need to go get deep therapy off camera and then maybe come back knowing what they're doing.
Dean is such an LA guy to me. It's all I can see.
He's such a middle America guy that new to LA kind of guy.
Totally.
Like he wants
getting
to
attention.
Be here.
Like everyone's recognizing him for like being handsome. Yeah. He just wants to like be in Venice and ride a bird and like find a bunch of girls.
And like wear clothes for Instagram. And like
so
he's bringing zero to the table.
I have zero interest in that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of it. Like Dean, get your shit together.
Done. I would rather hang out with Leo than Dean. Just kidding. I'd actually take Dean over Leo.
The biggest surprise coming out of this 5 episodes so far is got to be Crystal. I like Crystal.
Okay. Crystal is really surprising me because everyone on the show is like, I like Crystal. She's my favorite. I'm friends with Crystal. I'm like, good for you. Viviana and her had an embrace.
Yes.
Where she was like, I love you, girl. And it was cute. And I want to dive more into her being like a homeless scumbag and like how she's turned her life around. I feel like that's like something interesting about her.
She also seems like kind of lighthearted and we were not getting that at all on Ari's season.
At all.
Just shows you how crazy that must be.
She reminds me of somebody I know in real life. And so, and this person that had like a similar upbringing or lack thereof. And so they're missing like the articulation and the way to communicate their feelings. So they mess up their words and then they get into like trouble.
Yeah.
Like I see my buddy who's similar to her will like go to order something and have a confusing moment happen because she can't just communicate what she actually means and gets in a fight with a cashier. Like that seems like Crystal.
I think that Crystal also like just really does want to find love and like and also friends. It seems like she's as happy to have made new friends as she is to like be hooking up with someone. And she's now hooking up with unhinged Chris, which can't go
I
well.
want to find myself in Crystal's body because
she's really pretty.
She's in great shape, and I don't really like going to like fitness classes with like everyone screaming at you or whatever it is, like Soul Cycles. Unfortunately, it's like not my thing. But I want to go to her fitness class
down in San Diego road trip.
You know she's coming to LA soon.
Yeah, that's true.
They're all trying to come to LA.
Let's just send her to Manhattan Beach. That's where she belongs.
I think you and I should host like a group fitness class, and we'll get Crystal.
That'd be great.
To lead the thing. It'll be like an event.
Yeah, like maybe on the beach, perhaps.
Yes,
love it. That sounds fantastic. I'm in. Great idea. I just am surprised by how normal she speaks.
Yes,
and it's like a complete 180. I legit like her. I also love all of her bathing suits. Great pics. That pink one she was wearing.
Her little like headscarf was so cute.
It's also funny that her headscarf was cute. Meanwhile, she's hooking up with Chris, who's wearing that horrible bandana. Makes him look like Zoolander.
He's an embarrassment.
He's very tough.
He needs to go home.
I can't stand him either. I don't think he's going to, though. But also, I have no idea who's going home and when. Like,
I want them to bring back the older people. I want like the older people because they've got to be like close to 40. And I feel like The Bachelor's sort of starting to get a little older because they're realizing how like crazy it is to think a 22-year-old's going to get married and whatever. Yeah. And I want them to start like mixing it up a little bit.
Yeah. So we've talked about this before. Like, there should be a different Bachelor where it's people are between 30 and 40.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Because that's just a different mindset.
It is kind of a different mindset.
The only thing is...
I feel like these girls are like, we want to get married, I want to get married. I'm like, here's an older guy who's literally hooked up with a bajillion people. He was famous. He's not famous anymore.
Bob
like
Guinea.
He's grown up.
Let's get him in here.
Let's get them there. They will marry you. You will have a great life.
Let's
maybe
get Brad Womack back.
Oh my God, no, not that guy.
I don't like him either. But he, I think, would like actually be ready now
from those seasons that like have held up okay over the years because they moved to LA and tried to get famous and they didn't, but they look good.
Yeah, totally. I wish that like for people who live in LA, particularly former reality stars, I wish that like it was like a rule upon entering that you have to document or like just take
Before
video
and after?
No, of when you have to leave. Like, what's the moment in which you know it's over for you and you have to like go to Nashville or you have to like who knows where. And Nashville seems to be this like the city people go to when they were formerly famous. They're trying to like reboot or just like settle into
I think
something.
it can happen. I think Nashville's really having a moment with that Cavalieri show.
Are you watching that?
I have watched a little bit. I can't stand the other people on the show that are not her and Jay.
Yeah.
I think Jay's so funny the way he's like so over it. And I think she's pretty cute and I like seeing what she's doing. I don't know if it's just something that like we connected, you know, when I was in college freezing in New Hampshire watching The Hills.
Sure.
And so it's like I want to keep following. But I'm
It's
not
like an old friend.
it's like an old friend.
It's like why you sign on to Facebook.
Now she's got this like dope house and like all these kids.
They sold
and,
it,
like,
you know.
I know.
They're moving.
Well, they're getting a doper house.
Yeah.
You know, things are working for her and I'm supportive of that. But like
Jay is great TV.
He's great.
And probably one of the worst partners a person could have.
Yeah, but I feel like she's kind of got that like dark side. Not dark, but she's just kind of like doesn't care either.
I'm not a mom, but like I just hope that when I am, my husband has like the same level of seriousness. No, which is not to say that we're all super serious, but we're just like on the same level of like sarcasm and jokes. And I'm just concerned they're not on the same page.
Yeah.
Call me crazy. I'm just worried.
You might be onto something.
I'm just worried. Did you watch Music City on CMT?
I didn't.
It was like The Hills, but in Nashville. It was Adam DeVello.
This is what I'm saying. Things are happening in Nashville. So, like, let me tell a lot of you Bachelor people right now. You're going to get off the show. You're going to want to move to LA, but you can't make it in this city. I'll be the first one to tell you cannot. There's too many of you already here. A few of you are doing some things. I don't, like the poor guy, Johnny Bananas, had to do 10,000 challenges before NBC put him on First Look or whatever this last season.
Has already been hosted by Ali Fedotowsky and Audrina Patridge.
But how long did those girls have to do shows and stuff
God, a long time.
For Audrina had to put her horrible family on television before she could land that gig.
More on Audrina soon. We're going to talk about The Hills revival.
But I think you guys should just all go to Nashville. I think you got a better chance. I think there's a good community. Your people are there. They're celebrating you, and it's starting to infiltrate LA by way of Nashville.
It's true. It's
like the Ellis Island of Los Angeles getting into entertainment.
Sure. That's a great way of putting it. There's just a lot happening with like all of these people when they come to LA. I'm just like, I actually only want to know when you have to leave. That's my new thing. It's like, I just want to know when the money dries up and like you have to relocate and go elsewhere. That's what I'm curious about. This Paradise has been good. It's a good like palate cleanser after Becca's boring season.
I'm here for Paradise.
Me too.
More than Bachelorette, obviously.
Me too. Let's talk about the Real Housewives of New York. I don't even want to talk about the season. Like, I just want to talk about last night's reunion.
Okay.
Because so much happened. There was 19 episodes this season, which is crazy.
Real Housewives of New York is holding up the franchise. I love all the shows, but New York has just been so fire. Any one of those people could have a spinoff. And the best thing is they do the same things over and over again, and it's not tired. It's tired on every other, franchise or city. It's not tired on New York. And last night, can we start with Carol?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I just want to say you have some adjacencies to Bravo.
I do.
So you sometimes get some inside info.
Somehow found myself in the mix with Bravo. I worked for a company that was acquired by NBC Universal, and they wanted us to integrate that product into Bravo and E! shows. Real Housewife franchise being like the number one. And so I we'd have these meetings. They'd be like, who do you want to work with? And I'm like, here's my laundry list. Everyone on the show, all of the housewives. But we would get to like a few of them here and there. And so I have a lot of juice.
Some of them.
I have a lot of tea, but I want to keep my relationship with them. So I'll just tell you like some of my favorite things.
Yeah, of course. You said you wanted to start with Carol, which is good by me.
Oh yeah. Well, I never met Carol.
Good.
But
so
everyone in production was like, I'm surprised because it looked like Andy was pretty over Carol.
Yes, it did.
Like very over. And she looks over. And if you look at the preview, Carol was like, tells Andy he's full of you know what.
It's true.
So it looks like their relationship is no more.
Well, Andy was defending Bethany quite a bit last night.
He really was.
They were good and after her about why her motivation for going to Bobby Zarin's funeral.
Yeah.
And
I did hear, I knew about the friction between the two of them before it aired.
Carol and Bethany.
Because I'm buddies with some of the people, and they were like, Sarni, it is so bad. And I did hear it was one or the other.
Interesting.
And so I don't know what ended up happening, but what my point was, everyone in production said that they're like, Carol's so easy. She's so easy. She's so chill. And I feel like they end up keeping people on that you might hate as a character, but production's having an easy day at work with them, so they like them there.
But that's not what happened.
So, well, that's why I'm confused, because like everyone in production was like, she's so easy. She's super chill. Oh my God, you guys will love Carol. And then like, it looked like everyone's pretty over her.
Yeah, it did seem. And Andy was really defensive on Bethany's behalf about why she filmed going to Bobby's funeral, which I think Dorinda, to me, even if she maybe has a drinking problem, is the voice of reason. Like most, and so is Carol still. Like even Carol would be like, that's not a nice thing to say. Like she's a true adult in a way that most of them aren't, which is funny.
Yeah.
But it was just like jarring to see Andy so in the tank for Bethany.
It was jarring. I agree with you.
I kind of felt bad for Bethany because they were all ganging up on her.
I somehow feel bad. I like go through seasons where I'm like, Bethany's annoying me, but she has the best one-liner. She's the best character.
She's smart.
And she's smart, but like she did do a lot of annoying things to everyone, and everyone's like, she's so, like I would see cast members, people on the show, and they would all be like, oh, Bethany, every time her name would be brought up. So like I do think everyone's kind of over her antics. Maybe she will change. Just kidding.
I doubt it. I highly doubt it. Like it seems like she is staying for the drama though, because also she, unlike I think Dorinda, who still hasn't spoken to Luann.
Dorinda's my favorite person.
I've always loved Dorinda.
We've worked together on a couple small things, and I keep in touch with her. I love her. She is such a wonderful, lovely, hysterical person.
She really does seem like a great, like fun hang.
She's just fun.
Yeah,
she's fun, and like she's never like I haven't been in a situation where she would be like a hot mess or anything like that. But she was like the easiest going, and she like had us all at her house. We were like shooting all this stuff. She's like, "Come on in, like help me change."
She seems the realist to me of all of them. Of the Real Housewives, she seems the most real.
She'll spill some tea too. She'll be like, "This person's doing this person's doing that, and this is how it's going to go when you work with them." And that was like really helpful for me, which I appreciated.
That is
she
really
gave me
nice.
some tips.
Cool. Yeah. I love that. What was Sonia like?
I didn't get to meet Sonia. We set up some like hair and makeup for her, but everyone liked Sonia. That was like the takeaway.
She also seems fun. So
she seems fun. I mean, I was like, thank God she got out of the townhouse finally.
I know.
I also feel like this season, and even last night, I couldn't believe Ramona put her hand over her mouth. Was basically like, did she call her a puppy?
Yeah.
Which is kind of true, but at the same time, like I feel like Sonia was so fun this season. It was like, okay, we're done being scared of Sonia's awful townhouse and her alcoholism and all her problems. And sure, she got yelled at a little bit, but like she was hysterical. They were like, she's drunk, yay!
She didn't do anything bad. She just sort of was like living her life and like showed up when they told her to.
She had the best one-liners about everyone.
Yeah,
I thought
funny.
I was really like here for Sonia, and I find it interesting she is defending Bethany now.
I think that she knows what it's like to be on the other side of it.
I feel like there's a little Stockholm syndrome there where it's like her and Bethany got into it. It was so bad. They made up. They've moved on. And now she was like the new Carol.
Yeah. Ramona is interesting because she has at one point feuded with everyone.
Yeah.
And yet she's still on the show. I actually find her to be the saddest.
Yeah.
I mean, Luann is in a different class herself.
Right.
If you
Luann's
don't know,
like her own.
if you don't know, Luann's children are suing her.
Oh my God.
I'm
well aware. I'm
basically
very
stealing.
on all things Luann. Ramona, I feel like her story, it's like the same thing in circles. So, she snaps at someone, she gets a little nuts. But I don't know, you can't get her off the show. She's such a big part of the show.
I mean,
I saw her in Aspen this year.
Oh.
So we actually had challenging times working with her. I'll be honest about that. A lot of challenging times. So we actually filmed stuff with her that never went to air.
Really?
Because she was very challenging to work with. And it was because some of maybe her hair extension company, they were having problems with her. It was a problem.
So you're saying what Bethany was saying about her company's not working out might be true.
I mean, maybe.
Okay.
But I saw her in Aspen, and she looked like she was like 28. I mean, she's not, but like she looked so good. It was insane. She really looks great.
She does look
Body
great.
looks great.
She does.
Face looks great. Hair is great.
They all do. Who's had the most plastic surgery?
I mean, I would think Bethany.
She looks pretty. When they show the flashbacks from like 2010.
She used to have that jaw problem,
different.
which
I think she looked better before. I just like, even if it's not like, Gal Gadot beauty, it's like, I just like a more natural look.
I take that back. I think Ramona's probably had the most work done.
Yeah, they both look pretty different.
Because she got like the boob job after the breakup, and I think
upsets me.
Her face.
It just upsets me that, I mean, I get it. I think if I was on TV, I'd instantly stop eating and probably like change all of this stuff. But it just makes me sad that like there's not a way to like age gracefully on television or in even for reality stars.
Yeah.
Where it's like the point is like to be real. Like it's just sad. I mean, do you watch the Jersey Shore at all?
Do I watch the Jersey Shore?
I love the next season of Vacation comes back tonight.
It's tonight?
Yes, it's tonight.
Alexa, change the plans.
Dina's pregnant. So much is going on. But I love Jenny, always have.
Yep.
Just really makes me sad that she changed her face so much.
It did, but I enjoyed hearing the guys make fun of it. They were like, oh, the girls, they look so different. And they were like ripping them apart. And it was so funny.
I love that show because I love like very nice friendships where people like love each other.
They
and
really do.
They do. Yeah. They really are like a family. And I've talked to Sally Ann a few times and she's really awesome. And like obviously their whole crew, like they brought back the whole crew. Like it's the whole production is like a family.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's how like the East Coast is. I'm from the East Coast and it reminds me of like my friends from college. And it reminds me of my friends from home when everyone's like, this is family.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like that with my camp friends. Like there's 8 of us.
Yeah.
We've known each other since 1995. You know, time passes. You don't keep up every day, but you just pick up where you left off. And like you just care about each other. It is like a really like Northeast thing, I think.
And I love the way Pauly D lives like a rapper. That was the best surprise to come back to. I knew he was doing well.
I've heard that Pauly D is like really nice.
He is.
Considerate. And like easy to work with.
So let me tell you something. Before I moved to Los Angeles 12 years ago, I was a lower level, lame club promoter in Providence, Rhode Island for 6 months.
Amazing.
I found the job on Craigslist. My best friend and I were like trying to save money to move to LA, and we had day jobs, and we were like, okay, we're going to do club promoting at night. And we worked at this club in Providence, and we were so terrible at our jobs because like we were kind of like cool girls that go to the club. We weren't like cool girls that worked at the club. So we were like sit there and drink for free with our drink tickets and not do anything. They finally demoted us to flyering cars. Anyway, whole point is DJ Pauly D was like a young DJ at this club, like trying to like, I don't know if he was learning or he was like very young. He was a very nice kid.
That's like a beautiful story. I'm so happy to hear it.
We have a history.
I love it. So he's apparently a really nice guy. But back to Real Housewives of New York, it just seems like even though Bethany and Ramona like hate each other right now and they have for years, they're not going to ready to let go of each other.
There's too much history. See, they have like a more dysfunctional like the Jersey Shore family unit isn't dysfunctional. It's like a normal family that scream each other, they fight, and then they make up very quickly. Real Housewives family, they're so close. They're so ingrained in each other now because their careers, everything like took off together. Yeah. But they're dysfunctional in the sense that there's like deep-rooted hate and discontent there that like never really goes away. We put like a Band-Aid over a bullet hole every time they make up, you know?
I know. And there's just stuff like you can't, it's like, but it is like family, right?
I
like,
mean, Bethany throwing the businesses under like the bus,
Ramona.
That was bad.
Because Bethany said that her
she kind of
her skincare line is not moving forward. Just basically said that's made it seem like she's a bad businesswoman.
Every business, and I feel like Ramona
Bethany definitely keeps track.
Threw the line out and like hooked Bethany because she bought it into it. Like she bit right into it.
It is sad. I don't like seeing them fight, but I'm happy to hear that Jill is like back, is like still friends with Ramona, still friends with Dorinda.
I wonder if they're gonna bring her back. I feel like before there was 100% chance no. Now I feel like there's a 1% chance.
Yeah. 2 months ago or like 6 weeks ago, I was at the Burbank airport and I thought I saw Jill Zarin. And I was like, oh my God, is that Jill? And then when I think I see a celebrity, I immediately check their Instagram to see where they are. Celebrity again in deep air quotes. And it was not her. And I know it wasn't her because she was in Mykonos where she took a picture with Lindsay Lohan at Lindsay Lohan's Beach Club.
I'm dying for that show to come back.
Oh my God, I can't wait too.
We need a Lohan after show pod.
Oh, definitely. Lohan in Europe is like one of my favorite storylines like in the world right now.
It's the best.
But Jill seems like she's having a good summer. It's nice to hear that she's dating. I don't know. I've always had like a real fondness for Jill. I know that she was like petty and did things wrong.
Yeah.
But
did you read Andy's books?
No, I didn't.
You got to read the books.
He doesn't like her, right?
No one he doesn't mess with her at all. And he kind of explains it in like a not nasty way. He's just like, this is what it was like dealing with her. And it was like, okay, I get it. But to be honest, the product that we were integrating in all the shows through NBC, before we were even with NBC, Jill Zarin was one of the first people to use our products. I feel like she's always like the man on the ground. She was like the first housewife.
She's a hustler.
Yeah.
She's also like is willing to take a chance on a business.
And she burned us out too. We were like, okay, enough of like doing free stuff with you. You're unbearable.
It was amazing how they just spent an hour of everyone yelling at Bethany. I'm kind of curious to see like what else comes out in this reunion.
What else is there? Because like with Luann gone, she can't get into it with Dorinda, and I feel like that was like going to be a big part of it.
I guess there's like some piling on Tinsley for like maintaining her dumb relationship.
I mean, I feel like Tinsley finally came correct this season because the crying with the eggs, the wedding dress, and then like she got the makeover at the reunion finally. Like there was a lot. When she said after the boat in Cartagena, she's like, it wasn't that bad. I was like, all right, I'm here for you.
It was amazing. When I liked when the boat was like rocking and she was like, this is normal. Yeah. One of my favorite moments of
She's on so many like uppers, downers, and alcohol that like it does feel normal to her. That's like a normal day for her.
Just amazing. One other major piece of reality news we need to talk about that happened this week. The Hills is coming back.
I can't wait.
It's like crazy.
I thought I was done. You know what? They waited just the perfect amount of time because it was like when it was ended, I moved here when they were shooting that show. I was at Les Deux shooting that show with these people.
Did you ever go to Ketchup?
I did go to Ketchup. I went to Geisha House. Like I was at...
I missed all of that.
I was at all the places because like I had mutual friends. I had a friend that was a production coordinator on the show.
Oh.
I had like the first season. And I had like just friends that were dating people adjacent to... And then like my ex-boyfriend from college moved here and he was like the trainer that made it to one episode.
Really? I remember that.
He shot with them. Jarrett Del Benny.
Yeah. And they thought he was hot, right?
He's so hot. He's a very good looking guy.
Congrats, Sarni.
Thank you. He like barely dated me. He basically treated me like Colton treated Tia all through college. Anyway, we're great friends now. And he's a great guy and I think he's single. Anyway,
Jared the trainer.
Yeah, Jared
that was with Whitney and Lauren, right?
Yeah, he had shot with them for like months.
That's so
like
funny.
he signed the thing, would shoot. He'd be like, sign this, and I'm like, I'm not being on the show. Like I'm not. I love to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm just like not good for TV, and I never did. And I thought it was so funny that he shot with them for so long and only made it to one episode and didn't look too much like a fool, but just enough like a fool.
Yeah. I was like, I just really distinctly remember that for whatever reason.
Yeah,
I didn't live here I was living in San Francisco mostly for the Hills, but then I was in college for Laguna.
Yeah.
I loved those shows.
I remember like getting drunk and like ducking under a boom, like the boom mic to like get my friend a drink. Like it was really everywhere out here.
Could you tell it was like super scripted?
I mean, I wasn't like paying attention. I
guess you were
drinking.
drunk in a club.
Yeah, I was like more interested in Britney Spears like throwing up like on the floor.
So where did you see them? Like at Les Deux?
I literally would see them at Les Deux.
Where was Les Deux?
It was in Hollywood. I looked at Alexa like she's so young. She doesn't even know what that is. It was in Hollywood.
Got it.
It was across, I don't remember this.
Like near the Chateau?
I feel like it's near where we are right now.
Oh, interesting.
No, it was more east. It's like in this neighborhood.
Maybe it's where Warwick is currently. That's close to here, like on Wilcox.
Yeah, it was somewhere around. I remember parking on Wilcox one night.
Yeah, I bet it's near there.
I should know because I spent every disgusting weekend of my life.
When I went to college in Chicago, I was in Evanston, Northwestern, and we'd go to Chicago, and like the only things I knew were bars. Like I didn't know where anything else was. I didn't even like know where in the city it was. I just knew like the intersection to like tell the taxi driver. So when you're 21 and drinking, like you don't know where you're going.
Yeah. I didn't.
Whatever.
I don't know. And that was in cabs. Like you take cabs,
right,
so it wasn't in like your Uber. And I use like Google MapQuest a lot. I would print it out and put it in my car, and then I'd be like, "Oh, I forgot to print out the directions on how to get home."
That's
I'd have to backtrack.
That's so crazy.
I'm old.
Do you have any other good club encounters?
I mean, I have every club encounter.
Oh my God, what's the best one?
Oh gosh, my favorite one was. I have a recent one.
Okay, great.
Cuba Gooding Jr.
Oh my God.
This isn't an exciting one.
Okay.
I probably have better exciting ones, but this was just like a really funny night.
What club?
It wasn't even a club. This is like a few months ago at the Bowery in New York.
Oh my God. Okay.
But he was pretty funny. He like lied to all my friends before I got there. He's like, my name's Michael. And we're like, well, we obviously know you're Cuba Gooding Jr. Maybe his real name is Michael.
That's
I don't
really
know.
weird.
And he was so drunk and he was really friendly and nice and he was taking photos with everyone. And then when he's like, all right, girls, good night. And he literally grabbed two of my friends' faces and Frenched them out the door. It was a little Me Too, but like we were having such a funny time. One of them's like a lesbian. She was like, that's
hilarious.
So that was like a fun recent one.
Amazing.
But I probably have more. I have to think about it and get back to you.
You're going to come back when The Hills comes back, so we'll discuss it then.
Speaking of The Hills, actually, one was when Doug Reinhardt broke up with Paris Hilton.
Yes.
And they were
Doug, the brother of Casey.
Yeah, he's like an old buddy of mine.
Really?
He's a nice guy.
How?
Just mutual friends, and then we used to like party together. And
I went to Casey's Cupcake Shop in South Coast Plaza.
Okay, this is what I'm saying about The Hills. Well, sorry, just to go back really quickly. Doug and Paris were trying to out bottle service each other, and I think he spent like tens of thousands of dollars at the nightclub. It was a club called Voyeur.
Oh my God.
That was like just funny to watch. She'd order a bottle and all the sparklers, and then he would order one, and it was like this whole that bar must have had the best night of its life.
That's crazy
from a revenue standpoint.
Congrats to that bar.
I feel like I'm happy, sure, that The Hills is coming back, but I'm a little disappointed in the sense that I feel like Real Housewives of Orange County needs a revamp. It is tired. I am over it. And, I love them, but I feel like we've done this. Let's let some people retire. Let's get a younger Orange County mix. And I know that's a little like age discriminatory.
Yeah.
And listen, the New York women are holding up. So I'm not discriminating against. Yeah, I'm not an ageist. Like New York is holding up. They're doing their job. Orange County is not doing its job. I wanted Casey, Doug's sister from Casey's Cupcakes, who, by the way, isn't she married to like Nicole Brown Simpson's like nephew?
Yeah.
So we love an O.J. Simpson tie in the
Bravo
Housewives.
certainly does, yes.
Yeah. So like, let's get her on the show. She's like cute and has like this, all this luxury and the cupcakes and whatever and the new babies. And then let's get Audrina on the show because like, didn't her husband and her have like some serious?
I think they're separating.
I think they're separating. I think he like beat her up. She like called the cops on him. She's got a kid. Like, let's get the single mom underdog, like the new Bethany Frankel of like Orange County.
She was like Tammy. Remember Tammy from Orange County years ago? She had the dark hair.
Yeah.
She was like a great single mom too.
Yeah, like I feel like Audrina could, and that's like Audrina's very OC.
Yeah,
like she's born and raised there.
Well, this is what I was gonna say. Is like I despise Orange County.
Yeah,
and
same.
so I hate it there. I hate going there.
Yeah.
The only good part is like on the beach in Laguna.
Yeah.
Like there's only like a very good like a small cove that I like find acceptable. And so I do think like if you had people that there was like connectivity to who you knew from other shows, like that would probably be like washed up in Orange County.
They've got to be
would
like
great.
30 something now. Like I feel like they would be great.
The Hills generation is my age. I'm 32. I'm the same age as Lauren and Lo and like the original Laguna cast.
Okay.
And I am not excited about the Hills because I'm like, no, Lauren, no, thank you.
Oh, really?
I'm obviously I'll be watching.
Yeah.
But like Jason Waller, definitely don't need him back.
I don't need him back either.
Frankie, I see out sometimes.
I still see him. He's a very nice guy.
Very nice guy.
Still
but like,
say hi to him.
Yeah, but like not a reality star. He's just like a guy who's like in the mix. Like, I'm not.
He's got a beautiful wife and kids.
He's really nice.
He's
very
funny.
friendly.
I don't know how to put him back with maybe I see him sometimes, but not with the Hills crew. Like his other buddies that he hangs out with, like they would make probably funny reality TV, but I don't think they wouldn't be a part of the show. So I don't know how to like put him back in that mix.
I don't know either. Heidi and Spencer, yes, but like
Spencer's. I'm so supportive of all Spencer Pratt does on the internet, and I never liked him. I was never a fan of his.
Neither.
I was actually like, they're awful, they're annoying.
I found Heidi very sad. I still do.
Sad, the plastic surgery, whatever. It all made me sad. But he really, he's so hysterical. He's doing a lot of important things for me.
Spencer is doing a lot of important work. That is true.
Yeah.
But like, could I just have Heidi and Spencer for like a short 8-episode series? Like maybe we'll revisit it. I don't know. Like just like the Hills, them interacting is not that interesting to me. Like I would like some kind of like club subculture.
Yeah.
But like, why not find like the Sarnis who of today?
Yeah.
Like the people who
the
are
real
hanging
trash
out.
cans.
No, but like the people who are regularly going to like what's cool now. Like I don't know, like Delilah. And like Petite Taqueria.
I feel like you can't, before I was like, people need their privacy. But that was really like in the beginning when it was like reality was kind of new and it was like people didn't really realize the invasion of privacy. And now with cell phones, there isn't that much privacy in these clubs. But
I think the truth of it is the good clubs now also like really cater to celebrities and they wouldn't allow cameras in. Like actually like Delilah wouldn't probably want that. It actually would hurt them more than it would help.
Do they still have celebrities that go to clubs? I feel like when I first moved here, what was cool about getting into these clubs was if you got in and you were like me, you were the one person there that was not a celebrity. It was like exclusive. It was celebrities. But I heard later on, they were like, we never really made that much money because like we let all the celebs in, you're giving them for free. And so we weren't making the money that then once I feel like all the kids from my super sweet 16 turned 21, moved to LA, started spending their parents' money and now they're buying tables and bottle service and every club turned into like a Vegas super club. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know if there's like an interesting story to follow there with those people.
I think it's more like restaurants now. Like I think it's like you go to like Craig's.
If you're a celebrity.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
And then they like let you stay.
Yeah.
They say like they close, but you can stay and hang out. Like it's just a different scene. Some restaurants like will get you drugs. Like
the first time I went to a nightclub in LA, I had moved here with a girlfriend who grew up in Boston. She grew up with Chris Evans. And he was like really on the come up.
Yeah.
And so he was really sweet and he would take like his buddies from home. And it was like the real life Entourage because the guy had the superhero movie.
Cool.
He was like the hot young thing. He was dating Jessica Biel at the time. And he let all his like Boston friends with like their Red Sox gear that like wouldn't dress up and like whatever, they'd all go out with him and he'd take us to like a nightclub. He brought us to Hyde.
Oh my God.
And
which is where Frankie works.
Not kidding you. That was the one I was the one person there, and my girlfriend and a few of Chris's friends were the only non-select. Like Heath Ledger was there, like dancing with
God.
Michelle
Williams,
and they were together.
Wow.
Jennifer Aniston was there. Matthew Perry, remember getting drinks at the bar. Like the whole cast of Entourage was there. There were probably some people from The Hills, like the Hilton sisters were there, and like that was when Nikki was dating Kevin Connolly. And I remember my mind being, I'm like, this is what it's like every night in LA. And then like I moved a few months later and like I didn't know anyone. And I was like, oh, that was like a special thing.
That was once in a while. I do think there like is room for a reality show that can capture that if it's possible.
Yeah.
It would require a lot of buy-in. Like, and I think the best would be like people who are really connected but aren't that famous on their own already.
Yeah.
So like kind of so that they get like the celebrities coming through, but it's not like their lives, because you also need people who aren't that used to it, so like they can be disarmed at least in some way. 'Cause that's part of what was like so good about The Hills when it started, is that like they didn't exactly know what they were doing.
Yeah.
Like Frankie has been around the way. Like he knows. I mean, like, and like Whitney's on the show too.
Yeah.
I have always loved Whitney. I kind of wish she wasn't on it. I feel like
we worked with her a little bit, and she's super. And she and I have a couple mutual close friends, and she's really nice person, and her husband's really nice.
Yeah, I know. He's a reality TV producer.
I'm like, they've got to have something going on. Like she's got to have a new product or something that they're launching, or maybe they're revamping the clothes. Because like,
yeah, she has her web series about her I Love My Baby Butt.
Yeah,
which is cute. Did you see her spread in Architectural Digest?
No, not yet. And I knew where they used to live, so I'm excited to see where they moved.
Yeah, they moved to Studio City.
Oh, okay.
It's lovely.
I'm surprised they were such West Siders.
I know. I think Studio City is really good for young families.
Yeah.
You can get a nice house. You can walk to like Jones on 3rd and all those restaurants on Ventura. I just had lunch there, so I was thinking about it recently. Not that I'm in a young family. I think it makes sense, because like there's a lot of houses too, like inventory very low in LA right now.
I'm interested to see what they're gonna like do for the show, because they were both like not very dramatic fighting. Even on her show, she wasn't really that.
No, the city was super boring, but I obviously liked it anyway.
Yeah, loved it.
Obviously.
Justin Bobby, by the way, looks great.
He does.
I met him a few times. A girlfriend of mine dated him after the show, and he was a very nice man.
Really?
He was really nice. I remember she and I got separated from people at Coachella one year, and how cool do I sound?
You sound really cool.
I haven't gone in a few years, guys. I outgrew it.
Never been.
I used to go every year. It's embarrassing. Anyway, she and I got lost, and she knew him, and we ran into him, and he's like, I got you girls. And he like brought us around, like helped us find our friends. And this was like at the end of the show, so you had to like drive away and go to the party and try to find people, and it was very challenging. But
wow.
He was a hero.
Can you imagine having to go through life like being like Sarni Bobby? Because like someone didn't like you one time.
No.
So now he's just Justin Bobby. His real name is just Justin.
Which one invented that name? Was it Lo?
Yeah.
I love Lo. We're friends in real life.
I'm very jealous. I've always been a Lo fan. Everyone I know has always been like, yeah, of course I'm a Lo fan.
She is so smart.
That's awesome.
She invented like women's pharmaceutical probiotics and like
dope.
Like this, like,
she went to culinary school, right?
She went to culinary school. I think she did like a cookbook.
Cool.
I think they all did the whole lifestyle blog after.
Yes.
And obviously Lauren Conrad created an empire.
Yes.
Kristen Cavallari got an empire.
Right.
And then Lo was kind of like doing different things and doing like the cooking.
Like
and
being normal? Like trying stuff out in your 20s?
She's got like a fun podcast with her girlfriends that's pretty good, and like she's like super fun and nice. And then I thought she like a pharmaceutical brand was like, hey, let's do an influencer deal. You're gonna white label. No. She went to Scientist. She like created.
So she's the anti-Ramona.
She's like the anti-Ramona. She's got a real business.
Good for her.
Like, she's about to have a pharmaceutical empire.
That's amazing.
So she's obviously not going back to that.
No, nor should she.
She's too good.
She's way too good for it. I'm glad she's not going back. I will miss her though. But I've always was really into Lauren and Elsie.
Yeah.
I mean, I just loved Laguna. So.
I want them to bring back those girls from like the bootleg Lagoon Beach. Remember the one Casey Reinhardt was on?
Well, there was Laguna season 2, which was with them. Which I think that was what she was on.
Who was the girl that dated and
Jessica?
Jessica.
Yeah.
Where's Jessica?
I don't know. The second season, like the Alexes and like Jessica, they didn't get a lot of attention.
Yeah, I like Jessica. I want to know what she's doing. She was crazy.
Talon used to go to my gym. And I would see him, and I was like, "Oh my God, Talon!" And then I've seen Stephen Colletti a bunch of times, but also I watched One Tree Hill, so like he was like in my life.
What is he doing now?
He's best friends with James Lafferty from One Tree Hill, and they're like doing like an indie TV show together.
Good for them.
And I wouldn't be surprised if he popped up. He's still around.
He should move to Nashville.
He totally
He could
should
be a
move to
superstar
Nashville.
in Nashville.
He would kill in Nashville.
Yeah.
That's a great point. Sarni, thank you so much for coming on this podcast
Thanks
today.
for having me.
You'll have to come back because I know you've got so much information, and I don't know who else will really dive into the Hills revival with me. I refuse to call it a reboot. I was actually emailed MTV, and I was like, I called it the revival because I almost feel like reboot is mean, and I respect the Hills so much that I don't want to call it that.
Yeah.
It's a revival.
I'm so excited.
I'll be back next week on Wednesday to talk more about Paradise, and then every other week during the hiatus of Bachelor season. Thanks again to Sarni, and thanks for listening.